Good morning, welcome along to SFL Media Conference semi-final weekend. I have with me this morning the coach of the Lindisfarne Blues, Daniel Willing. The Blues finished on top of the ladder. How are you setting yourself for this weekend?
Yeah, we've had a nice break. It's always nice to get to freshen up and get the week off. When we thought we were a chance to finish top, we made sure that that was a goal to finish top, to get the week off and rest some players. So we've trained pretty hard. We're coming off probably a 6-week block of hard training. So we've tapered off a little bit this week, freshen the guys up. We're ready to go and take on a pretty good Claremont side.
You're obviously one win apiece during the roster season, both won at your home venues, so that would give Blues confidence being home ground advantage this time around?
Yeah, it does. We're comfortable playing at home. I think we're 24 and 3 in our last 27 games at home, so it's been a place where we've always played good footy. Small ground, teams think doesn't suit us with the way we play, but we tend to play it pretty well. So nice to get a home ground advantage, home crowd. So it's good to be playing at home for sure.
Back half of the season, inclusion of Blackburn from Clarence back to his local club Lindisfarne. How's he added to the team?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. His first 4 or 5 games weren't great, but just the professionalism he brought to training was great, and his last probably 4 or 5 games have been really good. I think he's kicked over 20 goals in his last 5, and he's been really strong. His leadership's good, his work rate's outstanding, so he's been a great addition, and he's helped Cass out a lot for sure.
Talking of Cass has had some pretty big bags in recent times, so how's Cass travelling?
Yeah, good, nice and fresh. He's had a bit of problem with his body in the front half of the year, but he was able to get that right. We're going to freshen him up at certain times during the year. He's been able to train pretty hard for the last 6 weeks. So his form's been outstanding. He's actually playing better footy than I've ever seen him play. I've been involved with him for a long time. I think he's playing the best footy of his career right now, and if he can back that up in the finals, well, I think we'll be pretty hard to beat.
Opposition, Claremont, who's some of the players that you're obviously going to be keen to negate?
Oh, look, I think if we concentrate on 1 or 2, we'll be pretty disrespectful there. We've got some good players on each line. I thought they played some pretty good footy last week, some good contested footy. So we won't be putting work into 1 or 2. We're putting work into it's probably their whole 22. But I mean, if they get Tyler Bowden back, we'll need to make sure their defensive structure is really good. He's in good form. Obviously, Jack Crossin, whether he plays forward or back, is one we need to watch. And Marty Allison and Sam Hobden through the middle really get them going. So we need to make sure we're on our game through the middle of the ground. But we won't be disrespecting them, any of their 22. They've got some quality players all over the ground.
Obviously, one of the keys to Lindisfarne this year has been the strength of the club. All 3 teams playing in second semis this weekend.
Yeah, fantastic for the club. Great effort by the club. The club worked really hard over the last 5 years to be strong on field and off, and we're really proud to have 3 teams in, and hopefully at 5 o'clock on Saturday we've got 3 teams in the grand final.
And just the last one, obviously first semi, Huonville Dodgers. Who's your fancy in that one?
Well, I won't give you a fancy. I don't think that's the right thing for me to do, but I thought Huonville played some pretty strong footy last week. I thought through the second and third quarter, they just didn't capitalise on the amount of ball that they had, probably turned it over a bit. But I mean, Dodgers' second half of the year has been really good too. They've beaten Claremont and been close to Huonville, so I think it'll be a really good game. And I'm pretty open to the fact that, our best footy has probably been the best in the back half of the year, but any team can win it on their day. So we need to play well and get ourselves through the grand final, but we know every team's hard.
Morning, Jack, from the Claremont club, second semi this week. Tough game last week in the qualifying final at home against the Lions.
Yeah, very physical game. Look, Huonville and Claremont are always a good battle. I think last couple of games been with under 2 goals, so we knew that was going to be a challenge. And look, we didn't break them till the last quarter, and it was a very good physical game, but we were lucky to come out with a win.
So this week up against rival Lindisfarne, second semi at Anzac Park. Had a few battles with Lindisfarne over there in finals in recent years. How's Claremont going to go this week?
Yeah, look, we always seem to verse them over there in the last couple of years. It's a hard challenge always going over the river for Claremont, but I think we're confident. We've got to go in confident. We've got a lot of experienced finals players in the side. So, look, we're full of confidence. We train well Thursday, and look, we're just going to go over there and put the pressure on them and do our best. Yeah.
Obviously, Claremont's form started brilliantly this year, won the first 8, then had a bit of a dip We lost 3 in a row, obviously affected a little bit by injury during the year. How's the recovery in the back few weeks been?
Yeah, look, we're just trying to get back to that first 8 games of where we played excellent football, and I think just that little bit of a tendency to lose them 3 games has hurt us a lot. But look, we're getting back to that last 6 games. We've won games fairly easy, and we've won a close game, so it's been harder. So we're just trying to get back to that, playing good football, playing 4-quarter efforts, and this week's a really good challenge for us to come out and play 4 quarters.
Who do you see as the players Lindisfarne have that you're really going to have to curb to get victory?
Look, I think their whole overall 22 is really good. They've got a great base through the forward, mids and backs, but I think you just got to nullify their run from half back and half back and off the wings in the midfield. So if you nullify that transitioning of overlap run from the back line, I think, and apply pressure, I think you can almost come out with a win. But they've got all over from the back, mids and forwards are all really good, 6 bunch of players through there.
So just a quick one on the first semi-final. Who do you reckon will have the trump card in that game down at Huonville?
Oh, look, well, both teams have come close. Us Dodgers actually beat us, but I think down there Huonville hard to beat, and obviously the ground conditions and whatever else comes in, I think it's meant to be a good day anyway. So I think I'm going to tip Huonville to win that game. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go into the game unchanged. So we're pretty confident we can go down there and put in a good show against Huonville, who are a very good side. We went down there last time and got the win by the barest of margins. So hopefully we can repeat that effort. But that's our game. As long as we bring that effort, 4-quarter effort, we can beat anyone on our day, and that's what finals are about. If you're playing well on the day, then we can knock off Huonville, we think. So we'll just stick to that.
Obviously, both games against Huonville this year have been less than a goal results, so can't be too much between the two teams.
No, I don't think there is. It's probably a matter of who finishes in front of goal, I think. We've both got very good midfields, both got some good forwards, some dangerous forwards. But yeah, I think if we can get on top around the midfield a little bit, take our chances in front of goal, then I think we can go a long way to winning the game. And I think we did that in the game previous, the last game of the roster home and away season. We got out to a 6-goal lead, I think, and then kind of rested on our laurels a bit. And Huonville, they're a good side. They came back at us, and we kind of need to put the foot down in finals. So if we get out to a margin, we won't be letting that happen again.
Obviously, one of the big differences from the last time you played them, they have Mickey Paul back in. How's that factor for the Dodgers too?
I think it's more of a factor for them, to be honest. It might change their team a little bit, but for us, it's another player that we need to put a match up onto, and we'll put Jake Murphy to him. And Jake Murphy does a role every week, like I've said, the last 3 or 4 weeks. And he's going to have a lot of help with David Hunt back there, Luke Murphy as well, chopping off a few leads. So he's a massive in for them. He's a focal point for them. So. But yeah, Jake Murphy will get the job again, and I back him to do a really good job on him.
Last week's game at home, big come home in the 4th quarter last week. Quite impressive was Hunty down back, General and the troops, especially in that last quarter, to block those signet thrusts forward and propel the ball back the other way.
Yeah, it's pretty reassuring to have a guy like Hunty back there to take a mark and just to have a calm head and to use the footy well coming out of the back line. He rarely makes a mistake. So it's nice to have a player like that in the back line, especially in a tight game like that. Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was good for us boys to finish a game well like that. It gives us a lot of confidence going into games. If we are down by a few goals in the last change, we know we can come back and slam a few goals on in 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah. So.
And just one last one. What's your thoughts on the second semi-final?
Lindisfarne haven't played for a couple of weeks, so they might be a little bit slow to start the game. I think it might be quite even for the first half, but then I think Lindisfarne should get on top in the second half with the fresh legs. They might run over the top of Claremont. Yeah.
Welcome Jarrod Lawler from Huonville Lions to this week's media conference. First semi-final weekend. Last week you tackled Claremont at Abbotsville Park in the qualifying final, all level at 3-quarter time, couldn't stick with them in the last quarter.
Yeah, it was a tough one. for 3 quarters we kept with them. Thankfully they sort of missed a few shots at goal, which sort of kept us in it. We were very confident going into the last quarter. We probably had the momentum. Our second and third quarter, we started to build and play the way we wanted to, but for some reason they found an extra gear and we just couldn't cope with it and they ran away with it.
Obviously you welcomed back Mickey Paul last week. Was he a valuable inclusion?
For sure, I think he's the best player in the competition by a mile, I'd say, so he's always going to be a handy inclusion. He's a bit worse for wear. His body's probably not the greatest at the moment, but he's definitely going to improve from the weekend and having a good run, so we expect him to be back to his best this week for sure.
Okay, so Dodgers, you've played twice during the year. You both won at the other one's ground in results less than a goal. How's the Lions going to get a victory this week at home in cutthroat final, given that you've probably not won all that regularly at Huonville this year?
Yeah, it's definitely been up and down at home. So it's probably an advantage. We played Dodgers a couple of weeks ago and obviously we only beat them by a kick with a minute or two left. Yeah, our ground, it's probably not in the best condition at the moment, but I mean both teams have to play on it, so we don't get to train there as much the last month or two, so that's probably where it's tougher to play on it at the moment. But as long as we play the footy we did for the last 3 quarters against Dodgers a couple of weeks ago, we think we'll do all right this week.
Do you reckon the soft ground at home this week would be more to your advantage than Dodgers?
It's a good question. I think both teams have big, rugged, big-bodied midfielders, so it's going to be very contested. That's probably sort of the game you've got to play on a boggy ground like that. So I'd say we both play a very similar brand. So to be honest, I wouldn't say I'd probably favour one or the other, just who wins it and who can move the ball quickest and get it to our forwards' advantage.
What about some of the matchups? Dunny's having a good final series.
Yep.
Do you think you might go to him?
No, I definitely won't. He killed us 2 weeks ago when we played him, actually. He marked everything, so he's probably the main focus of us this week. Probably won't say who will go to him, won't give away too much, but yeah, stopping him will go a long way to getting the points.
So you're confident?
Yeah, we are, for sure. We played great footy for 3 quarters last week, just couldn't get it done in the last quarter, and it helps beating him a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, yeah, both games this year have been close against them, so it'll probably be another battle, but yeah, it helps having Mickey Paul back, as I said.
He looked pretty tired after the match last week. Do you think he'll be better for the run? No doubt he is.
Yeah, for sure. He did look exhausted. He whacked a cop on the beak, so his blood was all over his face. He's like a big wounded soldier at the moment, so he wasn't at his best last week, but he's still, such a big presence up forward that it gives us a boost no matter what. And along with his playing, he's obviously the captain, so he gets the boys up and about. So he's a great leader to follow, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be back to his best this week.
It's hard for anybody outside the teams to read what's going to happen. It's just been a great competition all year, isn't it? Do you think that's how tomorrow's match is going to be? I mean, obviously you're confident that you're going to win, but let's face it, anything could happen.
For sure. I mean, it's been the best SFL season. Last year was my first year, but this year, I mean, every team is so even. You see results every week. It's like the AFL, it's just so hard to tip, which is great for the competition. So yeah, as you said, it can go either way. Claremont could beat Lindisfarne as well. It's just such a good competition this year.
And so for yourself, early to bed tonight?
Yeah, early to bed. I'll get my Indian curry. That's my Friday night ritual. Watch the footy. I usually watch a movie to settle down and wake up buzzing tomorrow morning.
Don't think about it too much tonight.
Yeah, I'll try not to. My housemates say I can get a bit annoying in the morning of the game day, so I'll probably be up and about tomorrow, getting in the area.
Obviously, last week would have been the first final for a number of your boys. Do you think that will benefit them going into this week?
Yeah, for sure. We mentioned that last week. It was about 75% of our team's first senior final. And I think as a group we stood up really well. We obviously dropped off in the last quarter, but we weren't overawed by the day or anything like that. So yeah, it's having a final under our belts already, definitely going to help us this week.
And one last one, what's your thoughts on the second semi-final result?
Well, Lindisfarne are clearly the team to beat, aren't they? I'd probably tip Lindisfarne. by a couple goals. But as Duff said before, anyone can win in this competition. But if I had to, I'd say Lindisfarne.
Yep, so good luck to Jarrod and the Huonville Lions in this weekend's first semi-final at Huonville. Just a reminder to everyone, our games this week, 2 p.m. start, second semi-final, Anzac Park, Lindisfarne versus Claremont, first semi-final at Huonville. Huonville Lions taking on Dodgers Ferry Sharks. And in the women's games on Sunday at North Hobart Oval, second semi-final, 10:30am, Lindisfarne versus South East Suns. 12:15 p.m, the Claremont Magpies taking on North Hobart Demons.
And if you can't be there, just watch the Duff TV live stream, Tony.
That's it.
Thanks, Jarrod.
Thanks, guys.